Good deal. Do we have everybody here? Or we want to wait a few minutes for more people to hop on?
I think just maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I know Catherine is the board member scheduled to be here. I don't see her on yet,
Yeah.
but I
Okay.
do see,
We've got
um,
Mike and Erica
yes, they're both
up there.
here. Um, and then Dan is here. He's representing best practices.
Hello, Dan's here.
Hey, Dan. Someone almost fooled me with their bot taking notes that said Jessica's personal note taker, and I was like, "That's not what I named it, is it?"
Can't have that going on. Only
No.
one note taker allowed.
Yes. Yes. Just as a reminder, if I denied your note taker entry, that's why we only let Promo Standards note taker in to take all of those notes. But I think, go ahead, Alex. Alex is going to take us through a walkthrough of our new
Sure.
website, which we're super excited about. And then we'll move into some questions. But Alex is going to moderate this meeting for us. So welcome, everyone.
Alrighty. As long as everybody's able to see my screen, can I get information that's going?
Yes,
Awesome.
we can see it.
Great. So we're going to be doing a quick walkthrough of the website. I think we're all going to be kind of taking turns showing different segments of it off. Um, do we want to just jump straight into functionality on the resources and, just kind of let people look over the rest of the pages themselves, or do we want to take them through those as well?
I think just the resources and then
Great.
the adding companies and editing endpoints.
I will just be letting everybody know here I'm having to borrow a login, as normally the admin login is a little bit different than what you would see on your end. So I'll be using the basically admin account of one of our member companies. It's going to be of Hit Promo Products, just so you can see what the most amount of functions you will possibly be able to have is for your company. So if you're in a lower position within your company, you may not have some of the functionality that you're going to see used in this demonstration. So just giving you that heads up now. And thanks a ton to John for loaning us this login so we can show this off to everybody. We really do appreciate that. So login button is going to be up here in the top right. It's going to also be accessible at the bottom of the page right here in the footer. Either one of those will work. And those will be on every page, regardless of navigation. You'll enter your email here. This is through Wild Apricot, so it shouldn't be changed in any way from what you've had before. Nobody look. I've got to put in John's password here. You can't track my keystrokes though, so it's okay. He's not compromised. And then once you're logged in, it should take you right back to whichever page you were looking at on the site, as you'd have on just about any other modern Web 2 and beyond site these days. Once you're logged in, you'll notice you can now see all of these within the resources tab, whereas normally when you're logged out, I believe only one of these is accessible to even be viewed, just for the sake of keeping these resources private to Promo Standards members. So this entire thing fills out. Please keep in mind that to access the resources, we don't have a repository page here. You will have to use the dropdown rather than clicking into resources and then clicking on a resource of your choice from there. Once this is open, though, we have done things like moving the web service validator to the to this website instead of an external website, whereas before you'd have to follow an external link to get there. It's now just directly integrated into our site. We really appreciate the team's work on getting that here. And most importantly, I want to show you how to update the information regarding your own company, because this is the thing that we've gotten some questions about, and it is a little bit tricky. Feels almost like you're walking into the kitchen of the restaurant for a moment here. So if you know what your business's code is, you can actually just add it as an extension on the URL here. But if you don't, you're going to have to go into this dashboard here in the top left next to the WordPress icon. And then you'll ignore any of this. You really don't need to mess with it. Just go to company. and hit view, and it will only have the company that you are registered to. So now you can see we're on the page for Hit Promo. And once we're here, since I'm on John's account, I can do pretty much anything. I can edit information about the company. I could add a new company underneath this, but keep in mind, not everybody can do this. So this is one of those things where you can add information about the company here. You can select their membership role. We will have to approve these when you submit them, so there may be some delay before that populates, just to make sure we're able to verify everybody's membership level. And please fill out as much information about these companies as you can. If you don't have the address, I understand, but definitely put somebody down for a contact. We would appreciate that greatly. So again, you can add a company here. Um, you can also add contacts in your company here. And notice how this one keeps you on the main site. The only function that's going to take you back into this kind of admin space is adding a new company. Everything else, such as adding endpoints and contacts, will keep you entirely in this seamless UI. So and you can see here, we can also add users. Users are another thing where we typically are going to need to approve that, since they won't have a login with Wild Apricot until we're finished setting it up. But you can submit them here, and we'll just double check that, make sure everything looks good, and set them up with an account. Jessica, anything else you want me to show off on this page?
No, I don't think so, unless we want to just see if anyone has any quick questions for the website, and then we can
Sure,
move
yeah, that
on
way we
to
don't have to
the,
backtrack. We can absolutely
yeah.
take some questions on that now.
If there's anyone that has a question about the website or what Alex has covered, we do have your submitted questions, and we'll get through as many of those as we can, but we won't get into those just now. Right now, it's just for the website questions.
So as far as accessing the endpoints, just to
Mhm.
verify if a company is using promo standards,
Of course.
no one will be able to do that if they don't have a login.
That is correct. That is something that's going to be hidden. So if you're wanting to share these endpoints with somebody that you're, maybe prospective working with, you will have to do that without using the functions on the website. I'm not sure what that option would look like. Maybe somebody who's a little bit more on the technical side could explain to me what the process of sharing that with somebody on the outside would be, although generally I don't think we want you to do that.
Well, I'm even just thinking of within our company, like we only have a membership for one
Mm.
person, I think, but we have multiple users within our company that would like to have access to the endpoint listing.
So each membership level comes with different numbers of access. So associate, I believe, gets one email access to the endpoints to edit them. To get more, you would have to upgrade. I think adopting is 5, and then advisory is 10. So associate memberships come with one email access to your endpoints, and changing them, and just having all that access.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Anybody else?
Yes, just one clarifying question. So
Go
you
ahead.
have to have a membership to have a login, correct?
I believe so.
You can have a login with free membership, free non-membership. You do get a login, but you don't get access to the resources. So you can still go and request with the non-member, you can still go and request credentials. However, um, you don't have access to the other resources for that. So I think some people had been asking about the docs and specs and things like that. I think we're still talking with the board about how to go about that. I'm not sure if they're going to keep that behind the login and just let suppliers handle that part of it, or what's going to happen with that. But currently those are behind the login.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have anybody else? All right, and before we move on, I do want to just say that I'm doing the upkeep of this website now. We're constantly finding little things we want to change or little things we may want to add. Just about anything is fair game. You know, if there's anything you spot that you'd like us to update, even if that is if you go onto the We Standardize page and you go, oh, you guys have an old logo in there for us, please just shoot me a message on Slack. I'm Alex Griffith, or you can send me an email at marketing@promostandards.org, and I'll be happy to update whatever logo or whatever information about your company we have in here. Maybe you've been featured in the blog and there's something in there that's out of date. We had to update, for example, SNS Activewear was acquired Alpha Broder, other way around. And so that's something we ended up going in and updating the information about. So if there's anything like that you spot that we're not aware of or we didn't get around to adding or fixing, please just give me a shout and I'll be happy to go in and adjust that for you. Right.
Can you show them the join page? Because I know we had several individuals who don't have access to the site, thought we did. We actually didn't have even the non-member profile set up for several people. So I think that
Sure, I'll
was,
have to log out.
yeah, sorry.
No, all good. Okay, so once I log out, you should see this is also through Wild Apricot. It should be the exact same application process as we had on the old website. It's just integrated as a widget here. Um, Again, you can enter for non-member, which will give you access to some things or give you a login for the site. They'll still be restricting some of that information. You may have noticed I can log back into John's in a moment, but once you have an account, you also can be redirected from this join page to add more users. So that functionality is accounted for. Again, even if you upgrade your membership, you'll automatically be able to add more users through the new site. But yeah, this is where you go through the application process. I believe we keep it about as vague as we possibly can as far as information we need from you here. So if there's something we're missing, we may end up reaching out to you via email before your account gets added. Again, that is something we have to manually verify. But yeah, I mean, it's about the same as it was on the old website. If you have any questions that aren't answered on this page about any of the membership levels, though, again, please email either me or admin@promostandards.org.
And for the distributor is free, right? Is that correct?
Membership is not based on your identifier, meaning supplier, distributor, or service provider. Membership is based on which tier you choose. So we do have members, full members that pay for membership that in all of those categories. And I'm not sure if that answers your question, but no, distributors don't get a free membership.
Yeah, so Staples is a distributor and we have a full membership so that we have access to all the documentation, all the endpoints we need, and all the support that we need on Slack. Plus, we get to be involved in several of the work groups and provide input.
And I can share in this chat what the resource tabs looks like when you are a member and when you're not a member. So I'll be posting
Oh, yeah.
that.
And they can actually see that now. Since I am
Oh,
logged
perfect.
out again here, you can see that the resources tab is basically non-responsive. You know, there's no drop down. If we do end up making some things free to access, they'll appear here. You can also see that the member directory option is completely hidden for non-members.
So on
So
the
nobody can
join
look up your
page,
info.
it says the
Mhm.
site provides basic access for non-members to standards and documentation.
Yeah, so we just recently locked that down to mean you have to have a login. So without a login, like you're showing right now, you don't see any of those. So even a free member has access to some of the resources.
Okay.
I would show that, but unfortunately, I don't have anybody's non-member account to show. I was only able to get the admin and John's. Again, we really appreciate them letting
Yeah, I
us.
think
Letting
Jessica
us use
said
it.
she could share kind of what that might look like.
Yeah.
Depending on your
I'm having
membership
trouble
level.
in the chat. It's not letting me share it, so I'll post it in Slack.
Okay.
Oh, having trouble with image sharing. It can be a little bit picky, I think, at times. Right. Anything else that we were wanting to show on the site? I'm not seeing any other questions. I believe we can move on to.
Anything else changed under resources? If you log back in, was there any change to the credential request, or what were those other updates?
I believe there's been some visual changes, but I believe as far as the actual functionality itself, it should be the same. But I can definitely we can verify that now.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking there was some other.
Ask a quick question. Hopefully it's quick. If
Sure.
I'm a distributor and I want to join and I'm looking just to get pricing from like HIT promo, how would I know which membership to join? I have no idea where
If
what I
you're-
would even.
I would recommend, honestly, in getting started and all of that, do the associate membership, because more is because you want to be involved in the volunteer effort. You want to be part of maybe some of the committees or some of the volunteer work. So
Right.
it also depends on access. Are you wanting 10 people in Slack, 10 people on having logins, or 3 or 5? So it depends on how many people you want to have access, or how involved you want to be with the organization.
Okay, so let me ask, because I was trying to find out like through Snugs and HIT like how it actually works from a distributor point of view. And it sounds like endpoints gets put onto our server, I'm assuming somehow, and through our IT department. And then basically we have a login through HIT or Snugs, and then we pull the info directly from them. Is that?
I'm not sure how it's all integrated per supplier or distributor. I don't know if anyone else on the call has
Yeah. So
something
let
they
me
can say to
let me
that.
try that one. So yes, that's pretty close to right. Your IT team builds something on your side that then connects to HIT's endpoint. HIT gives you credentials so that you can pull your information from HIT to your server, and then you decide what you want to do with it. So the supplier hosts an endpoint, but you'll need to do work on your side, on your server. So they don't put anything on your servers. You build that on your side to make the call to their endpoint and bring back the data that you're requesting.
Understood. Now, to get that information for those endpoints, is that on Promo Standard? Is that why we would have that membership to Promo Standards to get that?
That endpoint information is published on the website on Promo Standards. I would encourage you to connect with HIT's people, not just like you're going to need to get credentials out of HIT, and you could just start pulling information from them if you want. But I encourage suppliers to reach out to the technical team at HIT and say, hey, we're going to connect to you. We've got our credentials. This is what we're going to start doing. That way, if you run into any problems, you have somebody there you can reach out to and say, hey, we're pulling information, but I don't know. We don't know what to do with this, or so we tried to pull and it's not what we thought it was going to be. Like getting
Gotcha.
these established is not a substitute for developing a relationship between a supplier and a distributor. It's just a means, once that relationship is there, to be confident that you're pulling the latest data from them and it's in the format that you expect to get out of them, and so it's consistent for you.
Okay, so where on the Promo Standards site would I actually pull the endpoint data for our own server? Is that somewhere on Promo Standards?
You're a distributor?
Yes.
So your endpoint, I don't think we list distributor endpoints, do we?
No, the only possible one would be the ship notification inbound. And we really haven't talked about that, whether people are going to publish those or just deal with it internally.
So
yeah, we were looking just for pricing.
Yeah, so your endpoint is yours alone, because you're not asking, like, because it's a pull model, your server, your service, for in 90% of the cases it's a pull model, right? I know that we're going to push for one of them, but your endpoint is unique to you, and then you're pulling from all the endpoints of suppliers. So the suppliers publish theirs so distributors can have access to it. So we don't do it the reverse way because of that pull model.
But I would basically ask the IT team to create an endpoint that would accept, say, I would have you guys send me an endpoint just of yours, I guess, just as an example, and see
Yep.
if they could somehow
Yeah,
work around that
you
to accept.
would share with them, like, here's the WSDL, like, here's what the methods are for making the call. Your IT team, on whatever, it's a server they own, or if they use a cloud-based server, they would make
Right.
a call to the endpoint for HIT with the credentials HIT gives you, pull the data back on your side, and then again, the data is going to come in the format specified by promo standards. What you choose to do with that data, that's up to your IT team to like take that formatted data and then put it into whatever system or web page or whatever, however you're planning on using that data. Then they need to translate that data into your world.
Understand. Okay, so we basically build our own endpoints from scratch. Like,
Yep.
there's nothing
You build
already
your endpoint to call the supplier endpoint.
Right, I gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
And if
Mhm.
I
And
could
I'm-
say something, I misspoke before. So if you're an associate member, you can have up to 3 emails access to your endpoints. So if you are that type of member, or you have a member where you can receive more than one, just let me know. It's probably because some of the profiles aren't flagged right. I've been working with Erica the last couple days because some of theirs haven't been flagged right. But now they have access because it's all, we didn't need it flagged in the system before because we didn't have this capability. So no one really cared. But now there is restricted access. So if you're having trouble getting all of your access points, just reach out to me by email or Slack.
And not to sow any confusion here, but I do see on the endpoint listing there are some distributor endpoints listed, but again, I'm not sure exactly what that means in technical terms. I'm more on the on the creation of the site and the social content here than I am the development side.
Yeah,
Again,
I
that's
think we
labeled as
have
product.
some members who have kind of a dual role, where they are both a supplier and a distributor, depending on who they're doing business with.
Gotcha. Okay, great.
Okay, Alex, if you want to go through some of the submitted questions, we have a little under 40 minutes left for this call.
Sure thing. I actually don't know if I have access to those. Where are those at? Not seeing them.
Morning.
Apologies. If you could just forward me the submitted questions real quick. I'm not seeing that. Oh, here it is. Okay. How to connect in the best way. Just going through here now that I've got access to this, trying to figure out exactly where we are at, because there's a good amount of these that are, I don't have a question, which is great. I believe, do we know who put down integration and data questions? Did we get those answered?
If anyone's on the call that has a specific question with data.
We also had a question about
Data
best
and
practices.
integration.
If you want to, we can go into
Okay.
that page, which again is also locked behind membership now.
Okay.
Again, this is on a separate site, but to access it and to see it displayed, you will need to have a login. I believe this one is visible to free, maybe for associate and up only. But this is essentially the same page as we had before.
Best practice is exclusively for members.
Members only. Great. Okay.
Mhm.
But please, if you have any questions and you're not a member yet, or you're considering membership, feel free to reach out to anybody who is on this call or anybody on our team, and we can answer some general questions. Of course, we're going to keep as much of that as we reasonably have to behind membership. We can't give away everything, but we would be happy to talk with you and kind of help figure out what you're trying to figure out. Okay, connect with suppliers and vendors. I believe we have that relatively covered. We had a question about how to connect with suppliers and vendors. Is that more so being curious but using the directory, or is that a question similar to what we had earlier with where endpoints are put, or who is hosting endpoints and who's making them? Do we know? Do we have the person who submitted this question? No?
So basically, if you're looking to connect with a supplier, it's great to start with the member directory. It'll tell you who to reach out to get the credentials you'll need. You can look at the endpoints under resources to find the URL for the specific supplier that you're trying to connect with. So if it's a technical question, I think we kind of covered that. Member directory, maybe not as much how you can get in here and actually see who the contact person should be for
One that just
given
failed to load.
supplier.
Go. There we go. Now that's populated. There are a good amount of them that are under non-member here, but if you're looking for a specific company or person, you can search for either term, and both of those should bring up the list of people we have listed by name on the left.
We also have the company data service that you can use. If a supplier has a company data endpoint, you can reach out to that service to get the contact information, URL, etc.
Great.
So, but that is each supplier has their own company data service where they provide information about how you can connect with them and what services they offer.
Piggybacking off of that one, we had one that was, how do you get help when vendor data isn't formatted properly? I believe that probably just be in our Slack channel or with the vendor you're trying to contact. But if somebody wants to jump in and verify that.
Yep, that's the right way to do it. If a supplier, if you're getting data out of a supplier and you're concerned about the data, the quality of the data, then you should reach out directly to that supplier.
Cool. And if you want to make sure that things are good to go, or you have any questions about how it should be formatted, you're free to ask in the Slack channels. People would probably be happy to discuss that with you.
Slack's another way to get a hold of those folks. Just you can direct message them in Slack, or general messages. I would just be a little reticent to put specific supplier questions in the general channel. Those, you're going to hit a lot of people with a question that you're looking for one or two people to answer for you.
Yeah.
And if you are a member and you're having trouble, like you've tried to get a hold of the supplier and the supplier is a member, you can reach out to me and I can see if I can help.
Absolutely. We'll put a bug in their ear. Okay. Best practices for vendor pricing updates.
So I think if you're a distributor looking to consume price updates, you have to decide how often you want to undertake that effort. It can be a lot of data depending on how many suppliers you're integrated with. But it's also very important that you have accurate pricing. So it's kind of a two-step process where you execute the product data service to determine which items may have had a price change, and then executing the product pricing and config service to get that updated pricing data into your system.
This is Jay. I can probably speak to that a little bit more as well. Just so what Alex is sharing here on the website, if folks are not familiar, I would highly recommend to access this site for essentially if you're beginning to work with promo standards. A lot of those initial questions are answered here. If you go on the left-hand nav, there's the distributor home, supplier home. If you open that up, there's a guide to how to access each of the features. What are the high-level best practices when you're trying to work through promo standards at a technical level? questions around just somebody asked about this question on pricing data, how often to update pricing data. Those are some of the questions answered. If you drill down into some of the endpoints with best practices. So Alex, if you go down to the left now, the endpoint best practices. So if you open that up, it will open a bunch additional. So each of those features, we have built best practices within them and use case scenarios. So how do I, if you have a use case scenario, how often do I want to update product data? How often do I want to update pricing, inventory? Most of those questions are answered there. Again, the general guidance is you should reach out to the specific supplier when you're working with, because we have seen, for example, I work for Sanmar. We have a different cadence on how frequently we update product data, inventory, pricing. So it could be supplier specific as well. But in general, some specific guidelines are provided in this section. But again, if you're working with some of the specific suppliers in the industry, then I would highly recommend reaching out to their team and inquiring about that. Also, I would recommend that there are specific guides listed. And again, I want to go through this, take up the whole bunch of time here, but there are specific onboarding guides. For example, we have for Sanmar, Kuzi, SNS, we have their onboarding technical guides on this site. So when you go and access those guides, there are specific best practices on how to work with SNS, how to engage with Sanmar, and how often should you make a shipment call for tracking info? How often should you make an order status call? How often should you make a product update, product data call? So those guidelines are also listed there for those specific suppliers. So there's a wealth of information there. I definitely recommend accessing that. And I think my information is on the website as well if you want to reach out to me. I'm the chair on the best practices committee, and we have a whole team of suppliers, distributors, and service providers on the committee that are working diligently to update and provide more useful information on this side.
Great, thank you. All right.
Well,
Best practice
before
for
we
integrity.
open it up to maybe some more open questions here with people on the call, just to remind everyone, we have our Tech Summit in February. If you are interested in going, visit our website and events and sign up to go. We are currently at 140 people who have registered. So it's going to be, and that's, I think, 13 or 14 tickets shy of last year, which was the biggest tech summit in the industry last year. So this year is on pace to go well over that. But we do have a sellout number where we won't be able to fit anyone more in. So if you're interested, I would recommend signing up for that sooner rather than later, because the spots are filling up. It is not a marketing ploy at this point. We really do have limited seating.
And we did get a question submitted asking if the agenda was ready for that. That is on our website now. It's still being updated as far as who's going to appear on certain panels, but I believe that we have all of the speakers and things cemented here. So we're also waiting on what rooms things will be in specifically. So please feel free, check back to this page, but we do have an agenda up for Tech Summit as well. And if you have any questions about anything there, again, feel free to reach out to admin@promostandards.org, which is Jessica, or marketing@promostandards, which is me. Great. I did have two more on here I think looked interesting. I wanted to run by our technical team. We had a question if there's going to be any future use of the REST API along with SOAP. Oh, SOAP.
Any new standards that come out of the standards committee, we are committed to delivering in REST. We do not intend to drop support for any of the existing SOAP services at this time, but as you can see on the resources tab, at some point we are able to deprecate services and say we're just not going to support that as an organization or make any enhancements to it. So the first thing we're looking at, is product data along with pricing and configuration. moving to a REST service. And that is still in conversation in the standards committee, and we have a small work group we've just started up to try to get some additional input on that design. Hope to have something ready to share with the community at Tech Summit.
Awesome. We also had a question on if there was anywhere you could view statistics on how many distributors and suppliers use promo standards and which services are the most popular. I don't think that that's something we have a chart for, although I can definitely look into if there's a way we can track that data. So if you're the person that asked that question, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. I would be, happy to try and figure some of that out for you. I'm not sure exactly how much we can share, but I do think it would be nice to be able to put together some sort of tracker like that so you could see what services are people really using that you may want to look into. Definitely don't think that would be a bad idea, but as of this time, you would have to look through manually. We don't have anything like a like a pie chart for you to be able to see, or a bar graph. That would be nice for us to do in the future, though. So I've written that down.
Alex, I think historically at the Tech Summit, we try and give some numbers relative to
Great.
the number of endpoints from suppliers, and some suppliers provide some information about the number of calls they're getting. Because distributors don't need to list on here, the number of distributors using it, like we would have to get that from the distributors themselves. How many are actually using it?
Okay. Once we end up putting that together for Tech Summit, if there's somewhere on the side I can put it, we might put whatever graphic or whatever information we gathered from that there. It won't be live updated, but I still feel like that would be nice for people to be able to access and know. We'll put a date on it. That way people don't get confused. But yeah, that'd be great. Okay, and customization of payment gateways, loading products onto promo standards. I believe, I'm not sure if you guys are looking at the question list as well. Everything else that's in the general is probably all under best practices or as part of stuff we've covered already, from what I'm seeing. Do you guys see anything else that sticks out you want to cover?
No, I think that's good. We can just open it up to if there's any other questions on the call.
Great. Okay.
Amy has posted some comments in the chat. Promo Standards does not collect data on its members. Suppliers self-report and service providers also self-report.
Yeah, I think several of us distributors did give some rough numbers at Tech Summit, though, on how many we're connected with and how much data we're processing. Don't know if more of us would be willing to give that just as an idea for people looking to gauge how big or how small an integration can be. To the question of which service is the most common, I think order status and ship notification are probably pretty high on there. Product may have outpaced that now, but at one point, I think a lot of people were just doing order status. And that was kind of their entry point into promo standards.
Inventory is a fairly large one as well.
Yeah, it's true.
And since nobody's speaking up, I might as well fill some space here. If you're one of the people that put in a general, we want to run down a promo standards, we do appreciate that. We also get this question every office hours, and if we spent, the first 15 to 20 minutes just giving you the rundown of exactly what promo standards does, I think everybody else in the call might go insane every week or every month. But we do have a page on our website. Again, it's here about us getting started, and we have a quick video breakdown of what promo standards does. I believe it's probably 40 minutes, maybe an hour long, but it's a decent length YouTube video that will, again, give you the rundown on what promo standard is, what we do, and hopefully answer some of those, general questions. But of course, if you have anything specific you were unclear about after watching that, please, again, don't hesitate, reach out to us via email. I've been monitoring the LinkedIn chat as well, and of course the Slack if you are a member, and we'd be happy to assist you.
There's several of us volunteers that'll also take time to meet with people that have questions beyond just the general overview. People that are considering membership or looking for assistance with those first steps. So there's a lot of us volunteering within the organization to help people through those processes.
We have somebody in the chat who's having trouble accessing this.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to be automatically logged in or going to the login page when you click on resources. That's going to be the dedicated login buttons at the top right and at that footer at the bottom. Here. Oh yeah, it's a 45-minute video. There we go. So that's going to be the spot here at the bottom or this one here at the top right. Those are going to be where you're going to log in. And then once you do that, the resources tab will populate.
Do you have a separate login for best practices within Confluence, or do we have that all integrated?
I just checked and I don't see one. So I believe that it is all integrated. I see an option. Oh no, there's a
Oh,
login
no,
option here.
Atlassian. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
I believe that can be accessed publicly without a login. The login is for edit functionality and admin. So
It's
I think
saying
publicly
they're
available.
saying, yeah, I logged into the site, but best practices is in Atlassian. How do you say that?
Definitely
Yeah.
shoot us an email after this or on Slack and let us know what you're having trouble accessing here. I don't want to open it all up on the
Yeah.
the Zoom in case anybody is, using some sort of external software to record their screen. We don't want them to have access to all this information that's behind the member wall. But I'm not having any issues accessing this, and I'm logged out here. So just want
Yeah,
to
send me an email
see if you can figure that
and let me check what your membership level is and what your access is.
Mm.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice. All right, well, thank you everyone so much for tuning in with our new website launch. This has been a long time coming, so thank you to all of our volunteers who have helped make this possible. We literally could not have done it without you pushing this forward. So thank you everyone for coming, and again, just email me or Alex or Slack us if you have any questions. Have a good one.
Great job, Alex
you,
and Jessica,
everybody.
on hosting.
Yeah, nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.